Remember, the stream is approximately 30 seconds behind live. So if someone asks you a question, it's based upon what you did 30 seconds ago.
Okay,
cool.
That's gonna get me.
Yeah. It's not gonna. I should mute this, right? Because it's gonna be playing the
Yes,
sound.
and that will create a giant.
Excellent.
Yes.
Cool.
No, that's good. Yeah. So we got food culture in Korea.
Where did
Like I said, who wants to go first? Well, I will no. So you will go first, right?
Sure.
About food culture, or Korean food and marriage and stuff like that. And then I'll just
We should tell us what it is first thing.
we are live, right?
Yeah.
Like we are. Like this we are. Okay, hi.
Wait,
Hi,
people are-
everybody.
Are we really?
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Hi, I'm BJ Nancy.
Hello, I'm Samantha.
Oh, and I'm Kim.
So what we're doing here is a mukbang video, which is a eating show. So literally mukbang is eating and broadcasting. So we're broadcasting ourselves eating. So hopefully you guys, share it with us here. So yeah, you guys want to start eating?
Yes.
Let's start eating. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the point.
Absolutely. So maybe we can just kind of go from left to right here and tell
Yeah.
everybody what we have in front of us, because it is a lot.
This is an excellent idea.
All right. So what do you got right there?
Okay, so the first thing we have over here is tteokbokki, which is spicy rice cakes. So it's just basically like pounded rice in these little tubes, and it's covered in spicy sauce, and it's delicious. We also have, these are for dessert, these are red bean paste buns. So they're like these really fluffy steam buns filled with red bean paste, and it's awesome. Here we got some kimchi from the Saturday market. This guy's mom makes kimchi, and it's the best. So if you want kimchi, Saturday market.
Choice kimchi, right?
Sponsored by
Yeah, choice kimchi. Yeah.
No, they're not sponsored.
I wish. Okay. We also just have some rice. These are fish cakes.
They're glorious.
What's in there? Oh, that's the katsu.
That's katsu.
So that's like
Shredded pork cutlet. I marinated it a little
Oh,
bit.
but
We
wait,
got
you're not going to show you right here.
yeah.
hoisin sauce.
Look at that. Ooh, sauce. Smooth. Yeah. Okay, and then we got some mandu, which is dumplings, and what these have inside is japchae, noodles,
yeah.
glass noodles. You just got some sesame or seaweed sheets, seaweed sheets, just for snacking. And then we got some yangyamyang, which is black bean noodles, and it has potatoes and some other vegetables as well too. And then we got
Budejjigae, which is just like Korean stew or soup. It has tofu, usually has ramen, this one doesn't. Kimchi, all sorts of other things in there. Just kind of a mixing pot feel.
yeah. And then we got some spinach, which is we want to be healthy, so some side dish of spinach and mung bean sprouts. They both have soy sauce and some other condiments too. And yeah, that's all of our food, right?
Excellent.
That's a lot.
Now these items here, as well as the kimchi, those fall into the side dish category called
Yeah.
banchan.
Yes,
right?
banchan, yeah. So if you go to a Korean restaurant, usually you're going to get like one main dish, you'll order the main dish, and then depending on the restaurant you go to, you can get like 10 to 12 different banchan, which are, you'll just get in like a little cup and you'll just get a little bit, and you just kind of try them all out, and you get, it's kind of like an appetizer kind of, but they'll refill them. It's really cool. So usually they'll be like vegetables or seaweed. Yeah.
And in more formal Korean meals, they can get up into, you might have you know, 15 different
It's true.
side dishes.
And even if you look at like a traditional Korean meal, there'll be like a whole table just with all different sorts of dishes. It's pretty crazy.
Pretty much kind of like this.
Yeah, kinda
Maybe
like
not to the whole
this.
extent, but there might be like a whole family here trying to eat this.
Right,
But it's
that's
just the
true.
three of us trying
Yeah.
to do this.
Now, why
So-
is it that we have so much food when there's only 3 of us?
Wow.
That is the wonder of the mukbang,
Yeah.
right?
It appears that part of the deal with the mukbang is to just try and eat as much as you can, and as many things as you can, in order to satisfy the audience. So I hope that we satisfy you with all the stuff we're about to stuff in our faces.
So this is the katsu, you guys. Look. Sauce.
Oh, that looks really good.
It's like a sweet. What is this in the sauce? Like a
Hoisin?
sweet, like
Plum, primarily, I think.
Interesting. Okay, the tteokbokki's a little stuck together, so
good. Oh, and rice. Rice is a staple food
Oh, of
in
course.
Asia. Pretty much in any Asian country.
Yeah.
And a lot of other countries too. like not in America, but rice is just always on the table.
Yeah, and it's
For South
actually
Koreans.
interesting, as we learned in our Korean pop culture class, one of the articles we read about was the words for rice in Korean, and they actually have 3 words, which are, I think, bu, sa, and pop, and those are the different stages of rice. So bu is like growing rice, and then sa is dried rice, and pop is like this rice, which is already cooked and ready to eat.
It's interesting that, yeah, it is so important, and they recognize that rice on the plant is a very different thing from rice that you are about to eat, so they separate it and give it different names.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about some other things that are that might be staples in the Korean kitchen? Different spices.
So Koreans use a lot of fermented things. Hold on. So like kimchi is fermented cabbage. That's like a real big staple. Really traditional Korean food. It's basically just cabbage, and they salt it and add a bunch of gochugaru, which is red pepper powder, and some other stuff like anchovy paste, pa, which is green onions, and traditionally would dig it in the ground and bury it and let it ferment. But yeah, that's definitely a staple. Most Koreans actually have 2 refrigerators, one for kimchi and one for the other food.
Well, I have an interesting note about fermented foods. So the practice of fermentation is really, really, really old in Korea, and in fact, it even goes back to the creation myth of Korea.
Interesting.
Yeah, so, okay, imagine a bear and a tiger.
Okay.
They really wanted to become human, so they requested
this story.
to the heavenly king, like, hey, come on, help us out. We want to be human. It sounds good. So the heavenly king tells them, okay, well, if you can go live in a cave for 100 days and survive on garlic and mugwort, if you make it out, we'll make you human. The tiger kind of flakes out. Tiger doesn't make it, but the bear makes it and becomes a woman, and then goes on to have a kid and starts
A whole population.
So
beautiful.
if the garlic was able to last for 100 days, it must have been fermented. So the whole practice of fermentation is like older than the oldest Korean creation.
Interesting.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
that's good.
A lot of other staples that are also fermented. Soybean paste, which is part of the base of that soup that I made. It's just like this really thick, salty. It's actually so when you make soy sauce and soy milk, you mush up all these soybeans, and the water that comes out, I believe, gets fermented into soy sauce, which is also fermented. So that's another staple of Korean food. And then the milk part gets turned into tofu or soy milk, and then the crushed up beans that are left get fermented and turned into like bricks, basically, of this really thick soybean paste. And so that's what the base of the soup is. It's just like really salty and like earthy.
Is this gangjang, gochujang?
That would be doenjang is soybean paste. Gochujang is red pepper paste, which is also in the soup. And that's used in a lot of other Korean cooking. I don't know if that's fermented. I don't think it is.
So the same process, the processing of soy, all the stages of the processing are used for different things, right?
Yeah. So soy is another big staple. So you can eat just regular soybeans. Soybean sprouts are also used a lot, along with mung bean sprouts. Then you got your soy milk, your tofu, your soybean paste, like all these different things. So yeah, it's pretty versatile. Let's see, what should I eat next?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
so
some
much.
yang in there before it gets really cold. And we got
That's true.
we still got some side dishes though. Yeah, feel free to grab some spinach.
Would somebody mind passing me the jajangmyeon?
Yeah.
So as we are loading up our...
Thank you.
May I give you a little...
Oh yeah, just
got room there?
pop it in there. Yeah.
Now, are there
This
anything...
kind of turned into a brick.
Pretty much. You just really eat out of it. That's all right.
Okay,
I mean-
maybe I'll do that.
Yeah.
Well,
There would often in Korean, like if you go to a Korean restaurant, it might be a little more common for people to be like sharing utensils and you know dipping their
yeah, it's
spoons
actually
into shared soup. So
yeah,
we're good.
sharing
We're
is totally okay. I saw this one thing. What was it? It was like Big Bang, which is a K-pop group, or maybe it was EXO. but they go to this amusement park and they have a churro, which I don't know why they have churros in Korea, but they have this churro, and they like walk, or no, wait, sorry, okay, I'm totally messing this up. So they walk around to this guy, like these people who are eating churros, and they just walk over and open their mouths and like ask for a bite of the churro, and just random strangers will just feed them this churro without knowing who they are. It was so funny. I thought it was like the weirdest thing, but I mean, I guess that's just okay in Korea.
So can you tell me why this is not okay in Korea? That right there?
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, something like that.
Yeah, right there. So usually in Korea you'll get a bowl, like a little silver bowl of rice, and sticking your chopsticks in it like this and just letting them be is totally not okay. I mean, if you're just don't know what you're doing, you probably won't offend anyone, but I believe the reason is because that's used in like funeral ceremonies. They will in Korea, when you're celebrating or honoring dead ancestors or dead people, you will set out this whole table of ritual foods. They have like melons, I know I've seen, and like jeon, which is Korean pancakes, all sorts of different foods. And one of the things that they do is they have a bowl of rice and they stick the chopsticks in it. So it's kind of a symbol of death, I think. I think that's the reason why.
Cool. Yeah, so don't do that.
Don't do that.
Any other kind of table manners? I think age is really important also.
Yeah. So that's important in all of Korean culture, ages. But there's also some certain things that you have to pay attention to when you're at a Korean dinner table. So first of all, age in Korea is a little bit different. So in Korea, you're actually born 1 year old. So when you come out of the womb, you're just a year old because they include the time that you were in the womb. And I believe the rest is either just rounded up or it's like the time that you were being like the idea in your parents' mind of having a child or something like that. Anyway, so when you're born, you're a year old.
I'm technically 21 then there. In
yeah,
Korea.
But it gets better. It gets more confusing. Just wait. So also in Korea, so you're born a year old, and then instead of aging a year on your birthday, you actually age a year on the Lunar New Year. So everyone in the country ages 1 year on the same day. So for example, if you're born the day before the Lunar New Year in Korea, you'd be 2 years old when you're only 2 days old in Western reckoning. So that gets a little bit confusing. But yeah, anyway, so about age in Korea. Seniority is really important. It's, you know, like a Confucian society, so that hierarchy is very important in Korean culture. So some table etiquette stuff. Let's see, if you're with a senior who you're trying to be very polite to, if they say offer you a drink, which in this case would be Samantha, she's the oldest. So first of all, I would always pour a drink for Samantha first.
But didn't you pour it for us?
Yeah, she did.
It's okay.
It's
That's
alright.
cool.
You're
We're
just-
cool.
Yeah, it's because we're special. Okay. Anyway, so say I would pour you a drink first, and then you would in turn probably pour me a drink. And as you're pouring it, I would either hold my wrist with my second hand while I'm holding it, or hold the bottom of the cup like this and accept it. And then, instead of just drinking it however I want, I would be turning away from her so she can't see me, and then drinking it with 2 hands. And that's like, obviously, with someone who's very senior to you, you wouldn't do that with your friend or something. That's with someone who's in a higher position than you. Let's see. Also, yeah, just in general, in Korean society, if you're with someone who's senior, you would always accept things with either 2 hands, or with your hand on your elbow, or with your hand on your stomach. So 3 ways to do it. So, or if I was handing like Samantha something, I would hand it to her like this, or like this, or like this. Either way, but just to show respect. That way, like you're really giving it thought that you're giving her something. Same if you're paying for something, you do the same thing. Other than that, like I think most people know that bowing is a pretty important thing. If someone, that's just a common greeting. Also, something interesting, the degrees to how much you bow are very important. So just the deeper you bow, obviously the more respect. Yeah. Oh, also another fun little thing. This is the last thing I think I have to say, but so you know, if like I'm saying like, oh hey Samantha, come over here, like I just go like this. Okay, if you do this, that's really rude because in Korea this is used to call dogs. So I'd be like essentially calling you a dog if I do
Like
this.
insulting
So I've heard,
you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what you do is, this is kind of silly, but you just turn it over, and this is polite. So, hey Samantha, come here. I do this. Yeah. Not much of a difference, but that's that's just how it is. I was really confused when I first watched Korean dramas because I was like, what are they doing? And like I didn't understand, and also my Korean friend would do that to me, and I just kind of look at her. I thought she was waving at me, like going like this, and I was like,
Oh yeah, yeah. It's good to know all of that. Yeah,
yeah.
me too.
So in mukbang broadcasts, there's a whole bunch of different hosts. There's lots of people doing this. Some of them are going to be showing more traditional etiquette than others.
Yeah.
What about the sounds of eating? It's usually not super polite to, chew and make a ton of noise, but I feel like on mukbang they do.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I know in some cultures it is like a sign that you're enjoying the food
Yeah.
if you like slurp it a lot or something. But I'm not really sure about Korean culture.
Because
how that is.
just food in general, I mean, in South Korea, it's like really important. It's like a big part of the culture
That's
itself.
true.
Because people don't talk about like, I mean, they do talk about like how are you doing, but like the first thing that a lot of people say in South Korea is, have you been eating well? Like, are you eating well and stuff like that? Do you know the Korean translation for that?
I think it's just like 잘 먹었어요, 잘 주무세요. Yeah.
And like
Do you eat
that's
well?
how
Do
you
you
greet
sleep
each other.
well?
Like,
잘 드세요.
you want to know if somebody else is eating well, and that's part of the culture. as well.
Yeah, another thing, every time, so like, and I guess in American culture we'd say like, oh, eat up, or bon appetit, maybe if you're feeling fancy. But yeah, in Korean you'll always say like, 잘 먹었습니다, which means either like, I ate well, I'm eating well, I will eat well. Like, there's lots of different ways to say it, but
잘 먹었습니다.
it.
Nando. Right.
So anything that's supposed to go with, or can I just go right on in here?
Eat it with rice though. Usually
Rice.
like, yeah, just like a soup rice
Yeah.
and fill with soup.
Never some rice. Oh, good.
Anybody want tteokbokki?
Oh. These are spicy, right?
A little.
It's really spicy. Okay, so I guess I can continue to talk about some mukbang. So mukbang. I'm just trying to get that one. So
We're learning that it takes some skill to be able to eat and talk at the same time.
It's true.
it is. I'm trying to. I just want to really try that one. So it's just been a growing trend since it's been kind of started like since 2008 when kind of the whole YouTube thing started. And so in South Korea there's this kind of online live streaming service called Africa TV, just kind of like Ustream. And so these people just started broadcasting themselves just eating because for some reason there's a lot of people, a lot of single people in South Korea. It's a growing population, and then as well, like just like a month ago when adultery became legal, something like that. I'm not really sure the details in that, but I mean you could just sue somebody because they thought you thought they were cheating on you or whatever. But now it's just like it's all right. So there's a lot of single people living out there in South Korea, and if food is a big part of life, you eat with a lot of people and you have all these manners and etiquettes and stuff like that. But you're a single person and just living in like your studio or just like maybe you're even your parents' house, so who do you eat with? Who do you interact with while you're eating? So these kind of popped up on that live streaming service on Africa TV. And just simply people, either they bought the food, because sometimes it is American food that they eat.
Really?
Like I've seen people that just like ate a whole pizza and like that's
Oh,
all
yeah.
they ate for the broadcast,
Usually
or like
it's
hamburgers and stuff like
Takeout,
that.
right?
Yeah, so it's usually takeout because of course, I mean these are single people just trying to get any sort of food, But if they do have their own kitchen and stuff, they do a lot of their food as well. They cook it. So yeah, so that's that about the mukbang.
You mentioned that the audience watches to try and have somebody there to eat with them. I have one of our sources for this project was a documentary by Munchies, right, called "The Food Porn Stars of South Korea." And in that documentary, they interview some regular viewers of mukbang. And here's a quote from someone who enjoys it. He says, "Whenever I'm a bit lonely, it feels like I'm eating with someone else. When I see the BJ eat in her cute way, it makes me want to eat with her." Another woman says, like, "When I saw this person eating, I found him charming, and without me even knowing it, I started to copy him, and now I really enjoy cooking as well."
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, the whole point of this, like, kind of eating show and getting a lot of fans is that you have a really unique personality. So there's a lot of different BJs out there. There's those really cute, skinny girls that eat really, like, they can eat so much food, and you're like, wow, how did she eat so much? And she's just really charming and wonderful, and she responds back to her audience as well. And then we got the men too, who are sometimes handsome looking, and or cooks themselves. And so they make all this good food, and you're like, oh my goodness, this is so good. And what's interesting is that a lot of the people watching this too, they actually say they watch this to kind of like while they're on their diet.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of helps them. It's like, I like seeing somebody else eat.
Yeah, it's like living vicariously.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of, living vicariously. So that's an interesting point too.
Seems like people can get very different things out of it. Some people are inspired to eat by watching it, and other people use it to sort of let the BJ
Do their thing. Yeah.
You mentioned that some of them cook as well. There is one specific artist, broadcast jockey, who was featured in this documentary, BJ Sof, who has almost 90,000 subscribers and close to 20,000 hours of broadcast.
Oh my gosh, that's so much.
And he's a trained chef, and he wants to do that professionally, so he uses this format to sort of build his brand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. And I mean, and it's interesting how he can show like what he's cooking, and so he's almost kind of teaching people how to cook whatever he's cooking, and that's going to bring him a lot of popularity too when he's probably done doing the whole mukbang and go on to his career. Hopefully, yeah.
One of the most famous people doing this had over 3 million subscribers.
Wow.
BJ Diva, and she was at one point making like $9,000 a broadcast.
Wow.
Through donations from the audience. But she, after reaching that level of success, she actually retired, and it's rumored that it was because the lifestyle was too much pressure.
Yeah, I've heard that people, after you follow the BJ, a lot of them want to figure out where they live.
Oh, really? They're
And
like
so,
stars.
they are. They're
Wow.
literally food porn stars, So
That's really interesting.
just like all those kind of YouTube stars that we see,
Yeah, I don't think I'd try and follow them to their house.
And so they've had to move, a couple, or some of them just had to retire or stop, or just kind of be careful with their surroundings and stuff.
That's really
So,
fun.
yeah, it can get that intense.
Yeah, BJ Hannah here from that documentary was quoted as saying, occasionally I'll get fans who try to find out where I live and go looking for me, and I've had to move house for that
Oh my
reason
gosh.
before.
Yeah.
There are other ways that this lifestyle can be stressful to the broadcast jockeys. A lot of people who do this might eat only every other day so that they can prepare to eat huge amounts of food, or they just have to work out a lot.
As much as they eat, they have to work out. I think I also kind of got that from the documentary too. They're like one of them got to interview one of them who they went to a gym, and she's like, oh, this is where I work out too, and as much as I eat, I work out too, and that's how they kind of stay, with them.
That sounds like a lot of working out. No, thank you.
Yeah, so I think it is important, even though a lot of, critics out there, netizens, or some other people out there that are looking at this, are saying, no, this is really unhealthy.
Yeah, I
Like,
think so.
doing this and doing, like, more than, 9,000 hours of broadcast or whatever.
That's really crazy.
It is really crazy, so...
But it does bring a lot of people freedom. They get to work for themselves. One broadcast jockey says, through my fans, I've discovered that I'm a person that can be loved.
Oh, that's sweet.
He says, I didn't know that I had any talents or any abilities before I got this job, and BJing has awakened the talents that were asleep inside me, and I've come to discover myself.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, who wouldn't want to get paid to eat?
I mean, that's true. I agree with you on that one.
And you can work from home, right? And a lot of, maybe part of the appeal for audience members is that you're right there in their house. You're eating with them. You see their house behind them.
Yeah, we got a green screen.
Yeah.
Which was interesting, yeah. That's what I said to that, yeah. So it is kind of that, since the audience is seeing their, like, the intimacy of their home, or whatever their home is, because sometimes they live, like, in these little studios or stuff like that, because they're single people. You gain that feeling of, like, you are sharing the meal with that other person. And, you know, South Korea being the country with, like, the fastest internet speed, right? And Samsung and LG, you know, all of these smartphones. I mean, they have the best stuff there, and they are a really connected, like, a really online connected country or population. So, and in that sort of format with, like, the small screen, I mean, it's perfect. It's perfect to kind of, you know, get these shows on there and have that popularity. So.
You know, another thing I just thought of is, this is kind of sad, but Korea is actually has the highest suicide rate in the world, and I don't know if you knew that, but part of this, we talked a little bit about, like, you know, people feel lonely, and so they watch to be able to eat a meal with somebody. So, as sad as that is, that people are watching this to be, like, to feel like they're with somebody, if that really makes them feel better, you know, maybe that's a really good thing, that people can feel like they're having a meal with somebody and feel less lonely because of that.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm sure a lot of people who watch it, they end up building a little bit of a relationship with the person. Like, they watch their broadcast multiple times, and they participate in the chat, and they ask questions, and they get to know the broadcast jockey. So it's definitely more of a personal relationship than you'd get from just watching, you know, a cooking show on TV. If you're watching something, holding it in your hands on your smartphone, getting to know them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. That's true.
About smartphones, I guess I've just got a couple of notes here. Korean consumers replace their phones faster than pretty much every other country. They always have the new stuff. Of course, you know, as you're saying, Samsung and LG are right there. It's common to see people in their 50s and 60s using stuff that, you know, people of our generation don't even know. They've got Wi-Fi access on the metro.
Whoa.
They're working on making it even better. And I think, let's see here, the Science Ministry is right now investing $1.5 billion for developing 5G. So here soon they will have the ability to download 800 megabytes a second.
Well, I think I picked the right country to study abroad in.
Like downloading like a movie in like what 30,
like
40,
1 second.
Like what? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I was thinking
Like
30
10
seconds
seconds.
max. Wow. That's really fast paced. Yeah. So this is like a perfect thing for like South Korea, like so people to like do these kind of stuff when people are, you know, getting interested in it. So
And Korea is used sort of as the first testing ground for companies that want to show off their new products. So, you know, cameras and TVs and 3D TV was in Korea before anywhere else.
Oh, really?
And now it's really a place that sets trends for the rest of, like, it's not just a testing ground, it's like trend setting.
It's true, yeah.
So I really want to try one of these.
Oh, yeah. Oh, here's
Yes,
the, wait,
excellent.
here's the broth, which is still hot. And also, here's the sauce that I made.
Sweet. I guess we can smooth things around. Cool.
Why don't we just actually pour this? Why don't you just
do
pour
you
that
pour
over
that?
there?
Sure. Alright. So you guys can see the action. This is a fish cake soup.
Yeah, so in Korea, fish cakes are really popular just as street food. So a lot of times you'll see street carts with just boiling pots of broth in them and just all these fish cake sticks in there. And you'll just go up and grab a fish stick and eat it and eat as many as you want and then show them all your sticks and pay for them when you're done.
So I'll move this out here. And you guys can grab one. just make sure you have enough. And what you can do is just dip whichever one out and just dip it in this little saucepan.
Nice.
So let's try it out.
Can you get it off?
Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Do you like some sauce?
Yeah.
How is it?
Like eating a savory Muppet.
Oh, I don't think I like that comparison.
But
Well, you've got a spicy Muppet right there, right?
I don't know. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Muppet. It's really warm. It fills up your stomach. It's really good. And isn't this like winter food? Like what people? Because I would see a lot of this like in variety shows where like if you're out by the street, you know, you get one of these guys.
Yeah, definitely street
And they
food.
just charge you by like the sticks.
Yep,
By the end, you're just like, I have 5 sticks.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it's a winter food or not, but yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm pretty sure they have them all year round, but maybe people just like them more in the winter because they're hot, you know.
Yeah.
Though I've heard that in Korea they like to sweat out the heat. Eat spicy stuff.
Something that I've heard is that, and I asked a Korean about this, and they said this wasn't really true anymore, but at one point, Koreans would eat cold food in the winter in order to lower their body temperature so that they'd be as cold as the outside, if that makes any sense, and then eat hot food in the summer so that they'd be hotter so that it would feel less hot outside. I'm not sure if that's ever true, but I heard that somewhere, so maybe that's what you're thinking of.
So some broadcast jockeys seem to really get excited about what they're eating, don't they?
Oh, yeah, like, yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're not those kind of people. We're probably boring. I don't even know if people are watching us.
That's okay.
But it's cool. Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of personalities. I mean, I think I was starting to watch this one BJ. I always forget names, but she's like, a lot of them don't have to be good looking or charming or anything like that. Like a lot of them are just regular people, and like what's really unique about them is like their personality. Like some of them, like that one guy I guess you were talking about, like, he was wearing like this army suit and stuff like that, and in the tent and stuff.
Oh,
or,
like
he
tent.
would, like,
Explain the tent. That was really funny. Will you tell us about the tent again?
He's got this whole setup on the outskirts of Seoul, filled with his equipment. I feel like most people who do this end up upgrading their equipment thing by thing by thing. And this guy's got a sweet setup. He's got all of his old... He was a chef in the military, right? And one day he put on his military jacket and the viewers seemed to like it, so now he's built it into... turned it into a whole theme for his shoots. There's another woman who films pretty simply, just sort of on her desk at home, small little apartment, and she says that one day she got hungry. She was on YouTube before, and one day, you know, just as a vlogger, and one day she was hungry, so she just started eating, and viewers liked it, and they suggested that she start doing mukbang, so she got into it. And in this documentary, they show her with a massive pile of chicken, and she's just going through bone after bone.
Oh my god.
She says they really like it the way that I clean off everything from the bone.
Yeah, that's the best thing about mukbangs. After like watching, like I can't really go through like one of them, like, you know, a lot, because most of them are like an hour or more. But when they eat chicken, especially Korean fried chicken, I start salivating. Like seriously, it like looks so good because like they literally bite every single thing off, and then like they leave the bones there. Like they eat it so well. Like I can't eat chicken that well. I was never taught that way. You know, I just don't. I don't like to eat a lot of things with my hand. Yeah. But when it comes to chicken, like I try to eat a lot of it, but then I just kind of give up and go on to the next one.
Interesting. Yeah, I do that too. I'm really picky, so.
Yeah, so that's so interesting how they eat that fried chicken, and it just makes me want to go to Korea and try their fried chicken. 'Cause it's not the same.
Yeah, I've heard it's
really
like really good.
Yeah.
There's some other popular. What are some other popular chicken dishes? Do you know the name of one where you just take a whole chicken and you
fry it? No.
stuff it?
Stuff it.
Stuff it.
No, I don't.
Let's see, I might have it here.
Chicken casserole type recipes are popular, such as samgyetang, where a whole chicken is stuffed with rice and cooked with a ginseng broth.
Wow.
Interesting. I've never heard of that.
I feel like in this town, at least, Korean restaurants are starting to pop up more and more.
Beaverton, for sure. Beaverton is like Koreatown in Portland. Or outskirts of Portland, I guess.
Yeah, and we went there for
groceries and for
grocery
dinner,
shopping.
yeah.
So
Yeah, they have a G-Mart, an
G-Mart.
H-Mart. There's a restaurant actually in G-Mart that's like really hard to find. You have to crawl behind this shelf and go up these stairs, but it's really good. It's called Spring. And there's also a bunch of Korean barbecue places in Beaverton that are really good, so.
yeah, and the food carts too. I've seen a
Oh,
couple
really?
of it, and I've tried some of the food. I mean, it's pretty basic stuff. You know, your Korean barbecue, rice,
Mhm.
vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like a bento thing.
Cool.
And also sometimes you might have some kimchi too for a side dish and some dumplings too.
So
Yeah.
we can get in on that, the tteokbokki. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And if you want to try nikatsu, let me know.
Yeah, there's some right there.
Maybe.
Yeah. Or I like this there.
So I feel like food from other Asian countries, especially Japan, has been more popular for longer in the United States. And part of the reason I hear that speculated as to why that is because Japanese food places more emphasis on presentation than Korean food does. What do you think?
I don't agree with that because I don't think Americans care about presentation. If you can eat a cheeseburger from McDonald's, I think you can eat some Korean food. Because I think Korean food is like pretty, maybe not this, but maybe not the food we make, but Korean food can be pretty okay.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did a project for one of my classes, understanding the international experience, and I had to interview a Korean, and we talked about this a little bit. She seemed kind of upset, and she was like, yeah, well, Japanese and Chinese food, they're so popular in America, but Korean food isn't popular. Like, we need to change that. Korean food is so good, it's healthy, there's lots of vegetables, and I agree with her, but I think most of the reason, and we learned a little bit about Korea's history in our class, but Korea has only recently been a developed country. It was one of the poorest countries in the world before World War II, so it's really only just emerging as like a power in the world. So its influence isn't really widely spread yet, and that's changing a lot, as you can see with all these restaurants popping up, and a lot of we have a lot of Korean immigrants or like people from Korea in the U.S. now. So I think that's definitely changing, but I think part of the reason is just because Korea wasn't so influential a couple years back. You know, it hasn't had as much time in the U.S.
True. And once you get into like, well, for this class, you know, the pop culture of South Korea, and then, I mean, what got me interested, I mean, I've always grown up, I mean, I grew up in LA, so there was a Korean town there,
Yeah.
so there's a lot of good food that I ate, like, from around the world. But, like, you know, the pop culture of that country makes you want to, you know, eat. If they do have some food there, and you can see, like, what is that?
Yeah, me too.
Want to try it out after that.
Especially
so.
watching Korean dramas whenever they get food, I'm like, wow, that looks so
Yes,
good.
especially black bean noodles, man. I mean, it's
Because
just
they
like
always,
coming-
yeah.
I know, you always want to order some like from takeout. Like this is
I
not
know.
that good looking.
I think we had too much noodles, and so like there wasn't
Yeah.
enough sauce that stuck together.
I could
but
have made
it's
more.
always
I
so
had
good
more at
looking.
home, but yeah.
Yeah, because they get it in like the little bowl, and then they flip the sauce on it and shake it up,
Oh yeah.
and then they just eat it like crazy. It's like huge masses of black bean noodles in their mouth, and it looks so
Man,
good.
it always something always has to happen like,
Yeah.
during one of those things. So yeah. Anybody getting full yet?
Kind of.
We've got a long way to go.
I know. Got a long show ahead.
Just think of. Do you remember in that documentary the person making their way through the entire tiramisu, like a whole sheet? We've got to work up to it. I guess.
Yeah. Or sometimes they
Wow.
have like this spicy chicken. Like they have a whole plate of like really spicy. Like they call it fire chicken, right? Spice, and then like cheese on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
Mozzarella. Like I'm like, oh my goodness, how can they eat all that? I feel sorry for you. But yeah, that's also interesting too. I'm almost done with my skewer.
Do this. Congratulations. You're doing it. Alright, this mandu is really good. And I'm just kind of ignoring the fact that there's meat in it.
Oh, what was that?
Yeah, I think there is.
Oh man.
I'm a vegetarian, guys. Sorry, should have said that earlier, but this is really good.
A lot of this, yeah, is pretty much vegetarian.
Ooh, and this will be, yes. Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect sauce for that too.
You might want to, like, mix it up a little bit, because all the oil's on the top.
Sure.
What about?
Yeah.
Cool. You had some notes from this bizarre foods.
Oh yeah, it's this show with one bald man. There's always bald men on TV, right?
Andrew
Kind of like Howie Mandel.
Yeah, his name's Andrew Zimmers, I believe.
Oh, Andrew Zimmers?
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's Andrew Zimmers
Just love
on...
you.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks.
Which channel? I don't know which channel, but
It's on the
I went on their
Standard
YouTube.
Channel or something.
I went on the YouTube channel, and so they had an episode on South Korea. So it's bizarre foods from like all over the world, and so they focus on South Korea. And when I finished watching that whole episode, like this is not all bizarre food. Like, this is, I mean, besides the skate, the fermented skate, that is. I'm never gonna try that. But besides that, everything else was like it was talking about the culture. It was talking about how. Fermentation is really important, you know, in South Korea, and it goes back to tradition. And what I just had down was, let's see, yeah, basically he said like Asian cuisine is based on the belief that food is at its best when it's fresh or dead. You know, because sometimes like they would, you would go to a restaurant and you might, you know, order some soup, so they'll have it there, they'll have it there cooking for you. And then they bring the little fishies out, or whatever it's going to be, and they're alive. You're like, you get to see them, you know. And then you just drop them in there and then let them cook right in front of you, right?
Another thing that's really, like, a famous Korean dish is they take octopus, and they just chop it live right in front of you, and the tentacles, like, are still, like, twitching around and while you eat it, and
They cling to you as you
yeah,
swallow.
I've heard,
Yeah, he actually tried them out on the episode too. He went to a restaurant and he actually got to pick his own octopus, which is like the best thing to do. I think that's an awesome thing for any culture, like to just eat it fresh there when it's, you know, maybe not to that extent, but I mean it's interesting. And then something else, its culture can show the influence of its neighbors like China and Japan. But Koreans also shape their influences into a culture that is uniquely Korean. That's kind of in a broad sense where we had a lot of articles about how a lot of, you know, how China and Japan has been kind of really influencing Korea because at some point it was colonized.
yeah.
But somehow with, you know, hybridity, they got to just kind of mix all those influences to kind of make their own. I like how they say it in the articles, their own kind of unique Koreanness, more Koreanness in the culture. So that's just kind of a broad sense of that, and it starts with food too. So, and then what else is in here? I think we talked about that already. So there's different flavor combinations in every meal. Korean food is always served family style and involves a lot of activity. So like how we are right here, this is a little messy,
Yeah,
but it would be placed really nicely and systematically. And a meal is always family style meal. So you always share, like how we said, you always share. You have side dishes, right? You have some side dishes. Kimchi always has to be at the table, and rice, and then always a soup as well. And it's just really engaging because, and especially when you go out for Korean barbecue, like you make your own wraps.
Yeah, and you have to
It's
grill
really-
the meat yourself, too.
I know, it's like a lot of hard work. It's like grill your own meat,
Paying
make
money
your
to
own
cook
wraps.
yourself, yeah.
Or passing this on to the other
Yeah.
person, or making their wrap too, and stuff like that. So it's really engaging. It's not like just grabbing a hamburger and just walking, you know.
Yeah.
You know, just,
There's a lot
just
more, like,
that.
thought, and it's more deliberate, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
More social.
So yeah.
And if you go to, say, a bar in Korea, the menu, it's not like you sit down and everyone orders one thing for themselves. Like,
no.
Yeah, actually,
big
it's
portions of stuff. that
Yeah,
are
it's
meant
also
to be-
like rude to order your own thing. Usually, you'll have like everyone will say what they want, and then you'll like designate one person who's usually like the oldest or the youngest, depending like usually who's paying, and then they will order for everyone. And one of my professors told me like a story that when she went to Korea to teach English there, she accidentally just like piped up and ordered her own thing, and everyone like just looked at her like, "What are you doing?" You know, really uncomfortable.
Like, can I have some? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's all about sharing. Sharing is caring.
It's true.
Yes.
I've got a note here from a restaurateur and columnist from, maybe you can help me with pronunciation, Jola?
Jola. Province of province.
Oh.
Province in Korea. Jola.
Chola.
Chola? Chola? The Chola province?
Yeah.
It's a province that's has a reputation for being home to a lot of the best cooks. And he says that there should always be 4 seasons at the dinner table. So you should always think about distinct flavors that all complement each other.
Interesting.
Yeah, look at all the different colors. You got red.
Yeah. Lots of red.
Some
Brown.
Brown. I don't know what that is, but brownish. Got the green and
Yellowish. Kind
yellowish.
White.
Yeah.
There's some white. That's
White.
white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of flavors in one meal. There's a lot of colors, and there's a lot of activity to go through. So it's really important. I mean, in South Korea. So I mean, that's why I like it. So
It's also tasty.
It's tasty. It's good. But I'm full right now.
I know. I'm getting full too.
There's a mostly it is just, I feel like it's starting to become, mukbang is starting to become popular in other places, but it's largely just a Korean audience. And one of the broadcast jockeys in the documentary said, yep, it's only Koreans watching it. Nobody from the outside would understand.
Really? Yeah.
Interesting.
So I wonder, can you think of some things about Korea that might contribute to the success of mukbang?
Yeah, well, we already kind of talked about this. I mentioned like being lonely and wanting to eat with somebody, especially if you're single, and we just talked about how important like meals are in Korean society, and sharing a meal, it's like a big ordeal. That's something really important. So if you're single and you don't have someone to eat a meal with, like that must be really sad. If you're Korean, like when that's something so important in your society.
I think this could be popular with college students. I mean, I would do it.
Yeah.
I would do it. I'm not sure if I could watch it like all the time now. That just make me hungry. Like,
yeah, I know, right?
Maybe if I was eating while I was watching, but then I just say, man, I want what they're eating because that looks really good.
Well, and that could make you like learn how to cook too as well, or try to find some ways to make that same sort of food that they're doing. So, and I actually saw this one other YouTuber. Who, I don't know, she's just really, like, she just vlogs stuff, and she's just this woman with, like, a lot of excessive makeup and hair, and, like, I don't know what she does. I haven't seen any other of her videos, but in this one, she's like, oh, I just decided to do this eating show, and it's called a mukbang, and so here I am eating, I think she was eating a whole bag of, like, Twinkies or something.
Oh my god.
Some kind of sweet food. She's like, I don't care. Like, she didn't start cussing, but she's like, you know what? This is my life right now. And she was like kind of like sitting on the couch. She's like, I'm just gonna eat all of this. And it was just literally 40 minutes of her eating and just kind of expressing herself out to the audience, because she's really popular on YouTube. So something happened to her, but she just started eating. So she's like, here's my eating show, everybody. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. You're not Korean and you're doing this. So yeah, I saw that.
Ooh, you talked about Twinkies. Do you think we should we gotta eat our dessert stuff?
Yes. Here it is, the famous choco pie. This is like representative of Korea right here, the choco pie. At Korea Night last Friday, they did this thing where it was like they'd ask us a question and on the projector we'd like all text in our answers and it'd show on the map like which ones were the most popular. You saw it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the word that was most sent in would be the biggest on the screen. And the thing was, in one word, describe Korea or something. And choco pie was like the biggest word for a while. And I thought that was the funniest thing.
I thought people were going to put like Gangnam Style or something like that. Because people still do say that, even though it's been more than 3 years already.
Something like that.
But like when I tell people, oh, Korea, you're like, oh, Gangnam Style.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's not.
I was thinking kimchi, kimchi is
a lot of people actually don't know kimchi though.
Yeah. So I guess I can.
Oh, and I do have a consensus. The other choco pies are definitely better.
Okay.
So just so you know next time,
Ooh,
that other brand, I don't know what the other brand is, but
This company Lot is
not
all over Korea, right?
so is the other one though.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Curious.
Oh, let's open this up.
I've got those buns too. I wonder if I should
Read those?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
That's pretty. Oh.
So we got some thin layer of chocolate
Mine got a
shell.
little crushed.
Oh
Uh-oh.
It's okay.
You have to crush it with your face to eat it anyway.
Oh. I mean, if we're eating Twinkies, which have like a lot of grease and stuff,
Because it's so
this is good. Perfect.
I feel like this is probably a little bit better than
Oh,
Twinkie,
yeah.
but not by much, probably. Tastes better though. Way better than Twinkie. That's not very American of me, but.
Okay. And we went grocery shopping. We had what do we have? Some red bean fish.
Yeah, I don't remember what they're called, but
Ice
they're
cream.
like ice cream sandwiches, and instead of like a cookie sandwich or something, it's like those little wafer cones, but it's in the shape of a fish, so it's like two wafer fish things pressed together, and then in the middle there's vanilla ice cream and red bean paste. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
And really filling.
I liked how it used the ice cream cone to essentially make an edible sculpture.
Yeah, that's so cute. Yeah.
It also kept it like really clean, because usually when you have an ice cream sandwich, you're just dripping ice cream everywhere, and
Oh,
this
yeah.
was like really contained,
Yeah.
you know, because it has edges.
Mm-hmm.
If I can manage to get myself to the microwave,
Mhm.
which I'll eat some of those.
Yeah, I've been eyeing those.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, maybe I should go since I'm closer to the edge. Ugh. I got it, thanks.
Okay. She'll be right back.
Yep. Be right back, guys.
Be right. Oh. You might want that.
Sorry.
So one,
Apparently there's a microwave right here.
Yeah, that.
I was unaware. I was going to go all the way upstairs.
Nancy, would you like to talk about the space that we are in and this equipment that we are
yeah.
using? And
I want to thank
Apparently I don't know
my
how to
mom and
use
dad.
microwave
No,
either.
no, I really want to thank PSUTV. I'm kind of volunteering with Fulton State University's television channel, and this is just kind of our office space here. So there's kind of this, and then a little bit more room right behind. And so yeah, this is our office, and we're just kind of using it here for people here. So yeah, thank you very much for doing this for us, and putting it on YouTube and on their website too. So yeah, so that's where we are. Fulton State University, go Vikings. Yeah. Oh,
We have 4 really
here they go.
Yeah. There you go.
I'll probably keep this guy up.
thank you.
We can also have these little drinky thingies I brought. Those guys, the little yogurt drinks.
Kind of calm our stomachs down
Yeah,
a little
maybe.
bit.
Oh yes, we did bring some digestive aids. I don't think I talked about this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
talk
why don't you
about
go
that.
ahead?
Here, I could show it.
This
is a really nice
is sujongwa. Again, I'm not studied the Korean, but it is a ginger and cinnamon punch that is often served after meals to aid digestion. It's got, so to make it, I boiled a bunch of ginger and I boiled a bunch of cinnamon sticks and I added pine nuts and dried persimmons, which that's what those are. I don't know if you can show
Yeah,
the camera
oh yeah,
what they
sure.
look like. They're much more common, I think, in Korean food than over here. But yeah, dried persimmons, delicious.
Yeah, this is definitely gonna come.
And then
Converse for
these
mixing.
guys, they're like a little yogurt drink. They're fermented. It says fermented soft drink with probiotics, organic enyo, and I don't know. I can't really describe the taste to you. It's like kind of creamy, but like it's bubbly because it's fermented. I don't know. How would you guys describe it?
Well, let's try it.
Yeah.
Let's all try together.
Yeah, these are like a pretty popular thing in Korean dramas. They'll show these a lot. Like, if someone's depressed, they'll go to the convenience store, the 편의점, and they'll like grab a thing of these and stick a straw in it and like sadly sip from the Enya thing. Like, that's a pretty big thing there.
And eat like one of those triangle shaped.
Yeah,
right?
the triangle like kimbap.
Wow.
Oh, hey, we've got
no,
a
it was frozen.
question.
Oh, really?
We do?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Nice. Thanks, guys.
I apologize if I'm coming to this question late, but I just see here. Hey, well, 2 questions. One, where's the bulgogi?
Oh,
Where's
we don't
the
have any. Sorry.
And 2, do you know why chopsticks are always metal in Korea? I don't know.
Yes, I do know the answer to this question, actually. Okay. So, metal chopsticks are harder to use if you've ever tried metal chopsticks. So, like, this, like, the weight and, like, the power of the metal chopsticks. If you can wield metal chopsticks, it's a symbol of, like, ooh, you're powerful. And, like, they used to, during World War II, I think, they had this propaganda poster. Or no, maybe it was in, like, Time magazine or something. But anyway, there was, like, this propaganda poster about how great Korea was, and it was, like, hold the world in your chopsticks, or something like that in Korean, and it was, like, using metal chopsticks, and it was talking about, like, how, like, powerful metal chopsticks are, or something. So I think that's the reason. Other than that, maybe they just like them more. Maybe it's just a preference. Koreans tend to like metal chopsticks.
I think bamboo chopsticks are the best. I have a whole set of these, and so these are my own. And they were pretty expensive, but I mean, they're really nice. They told me that these are really kind of an important thing to just kind of like metal chopsticks.
Yeah, and I don't know, a lot of people don't seem to know this, but Koreans always eat with chopsticks and a spoon. So no forks like in America, no knives usually. Usually, yeah, they don't have knives, so usually if they have meat or something, they'll just cut it with scissors. So if you're at Korean barbecue, they'll hand you scissors and meat and a grill, and you just grill it and then snip it with the scissors so you can make bite-sized pieces. Oh, yes.
Look at all that red band.
Yeah, these are my favorite, guys.
It is so sweet. I still have like a whole like Tupperware full of like this. So I should probably make some more when I get home.
I tried to make these one time and they turned out so bad. Like the bun, I didn't do it correctly, so they were just hard and like this thick, like chewy, like wrapper around the red bean, and it was just so bad. They were so gross.
Well, as we are finishing our dessert, should we wrap up? We've got some final thoughts. We were going to talk about how mukbang is one of several examples of how people are transitioning to watching more and more content that's not produced by big studios, but's made by individuals.
Yeah.
Can you think of another example of that besides mukbang? The whole YouTube culture is very important.
Yeah, that's true.
That's so true. And I guess actually a lot of webtoons are becoming popular in South Korea.
Yeah.
So a lot of the Korean dramas have always been on TV, on kind of like on their studios and on their schedules, their casted actors and stuff like that, by their policies and regulations, stuff like that. But webtoons is they've been using the online format because a lot of people are going online to watch a lot of dramas, especially us here in the U.S. We're trying to find English subs.
Drama fever.
So Drama Fever, sponsored by Drama Fever. Yeah, I'm gonna watch one after this. But yeah, so webtoons are becoming popular. So the online format is very important, and it's there's a lot of new shows on there. Like which one's the last one that I've seen? I don't remember. But they're gaining as much popularity as just like the TV dramas as well.
Yeah.
So
Podcasts are taking off.
Yeah.
Korea is one of the countries that downloads more podcasts than anyone else.
Look, you guys, we got balloons.
Nice.
One for each of us. 3. Thank you. Exactly. Thank you. I'm mesmerized by this.
I know, this is really good.
I can't
Highlight of the meal.
I can't really talk during this, So.
Wow, we really didn't eat enough.
I know. We you're bad as BJs.
Yeah.
Our job is done. So, sorry, guys. I wish you could be here with us. I really
Yes,
wish you
and
could be
help
here
us
with
finish
us.
this off.
Yeah, definitely. Give it away. But, yeah.
Well, and we aren't doing this every day, right? We haven't built up the stamina.
That's true. We need like a tolerance. We need to like stretch out our stomachs, you know?
Yeah. We haven't been doing that kimchi a lot.
I
It was
know.
really good though.
Yeah.
I had a couple pieces, but I should have had more.
Yep.
Well, this, let's see, this tastes like,
It's hard to describe, isn't it?
it is kind of like a soda. Like
Yeah.
soda flavor. Like, you know what I like to drink, and I had it yesterday? Milkies, which is banana
it's
milk.
like, it's like milk.
So yeah, it's kind of like that fizzy, sort of
Yeah.
refreshing kind of
yeah,
thing.
but kind of
And
like
I-
sour at the same time.
Yeah, there's these like little yogurts too that are also popular like in Latin America too. I grew up with them.
Interesting.
They're just a little smaller than that, and they're pink or and blue or something like
Uh-huh.
that. And so you also like stick something in, or you just kind of like rip it open and just
Yeah.
kind of drink it. So
Mhm.
as a little kid, you know, you just make it. Yeah, it's so good.
Well, I'm getting really full, guys.
Yeah. You know, usually BJs are like all excited about it. They're like, yes.
I don't know. I was pretty excited about the food too, but you guys didn't show it. I haven't honed my BJ skills very well.
Yeah.
Broadcast jockey.
Broadcast
Broadcast
jockey.
jockey.
Yes.
No.
Just
Yeah.
like to
Reiterate.
that one more time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So we have not succeeded in cleaning our plates, but I feel like we have succeeded in.
Well, enjoying a nice meal together.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, pretty much the BJs, the broadcast jockeys, they would kind of wrap up their show or finish their show, you know, by eating everything that they have on the table, and then saying, "I'll see you guys next time," and that is usually like the next day, like, "Hey, I'm back again," you know. This time it's pizza or something like that. So, and it's just kind of like your next episode of like Grey's Anatomy or whatever. You know, you just kind of is a show, and you want to see them over and over again if you're really into them. So yeah.
What is the phrase that you say in Korean after you have finished your meal?
잘 먹겠습니다.
Well, should we say that? Are we done eating for sure?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, ready?
ready?
And
잘
먹겠습니다.